Yeah. Hi. Hey, how's it going? I just remembered I have this thing that I wrote down that might explain where I'm coming from today with my latest rant, which this is going to be. Oh no, I recorded it. I just wanted to say a quick word about some of the stuff that's been happening this week because it's been so extraordinary. We started off with Posey's event in New York, which had that bloke in the green hat wiggling his Jordan Greys at the camera and at the women who are protesting and fighting for their rights. Um, a number of things happened after that. The police told Posey, or during that, although I saw Posey praising the police, so I'm not sure what the full story is. But Posey met one policeman, I believe, who said that he wouldn't guarantee her safety and bring her to the center of her own event, so she had to miss it. Um, so then that happened, and then the next thing, a lot of New York papers, including the New York Post, weirdly enough, uh, started calling Posey's side of things the far right, which is a complete smear. Um, I've heard I hear people complaining um, uh, about Posey appearing on right wing programs. Um, but I never hear the same people complaining about prominent professional feminists like Helen Lewis, Kathleen Moran, and all these people who never report on her. You know, what is she supposed to do? How is she supposed to get the word out? But anyway, so she was lied about quite brazenly in the New York Times, the New York Post, the Villager. They all use this smear of far right. These are women defending their rights. Also, today I'm hearing about Eventbrite cancelling two more feminist events, one with Julie Bindel and I'm sorry, Ingala Smith. I forget her first name. Sorry, and another that was a showing of a GC film. They've cancelled two events. The next story is Australia is backpedaling on puberty blockers. And it brings me to the reason why I wanted to do this video, because if I wrote down a list of all the people who have been shamefully silent during this, it would take me all day. So I just want to throw in a few names every so often. And I hope that you'll go on Twitter and ask politely what these people think of, some of these things. Like, for instance, Ben Goldacre. Ben Goldacre wrote a book called Bad Science. He's another friend of mine from the old days who never said a word in my defense. Where is Ben Goldacre on puberty blockers? Why hasn't he cleared up the raging debate over whether they were reversible or not? Why didn't he even say, we don't know? Where has he been? Another person who left their post during these years. There's another question. Will Jon Ronson update his ridiculous puff piece on Camp Trans and add that Dana Rivers, is it Dana? Yeah, I think it's Dana Rivers, has just been found guilty of the murder of two of the women who went to Mitchfest before these entitled violent men stuck their nose in, men that Jon Ronson will spend his life defending before he'll even think about a single woman. Then we have today's news, which again I still can't quite believe it. I was thinking, okay, this is too perfect. This story. I wrote a headline that said Nicola Sturgeon's. This single story is why Nicola Sturgeon is a traitor to women. Then I thought, oh yeah, but then it probably happened in the UK, so it won't apply. They'll be able to argue their way out of it. But no, it's a Scottish story. It's a Scottish story, and it's it's a pedophile by the name of Dolotowski, right, who identifies as a woman, and he's attacked a male prisoner in the male estate at Polmont Prison, which I could be wrong, but I think I know something about Polmont Prison. And he's been moved to the female estate. You know, he's been moved to the female estate. I don't know. You know, an Eventbrite canceling those things, all these things at the same time, they just kind of lead me to, they just kind of lead me to a real point of desperation. Like, when are my old friends in comedy going to speak up about this? When are they going to break cover and say, this is not right? It's not right that a pedophile goes to a woman's prison, a violent pedophile. When are they going to speak up? When is my old friend Dara O'Brien going to speak up? Dara's another science guy. Doesn't he have anything to say about puberty blockers? Does he think that this pedophile should be housed with women? I really want people to politely ask these questions, and please, because I've been banned from Twitter, I can't ask them myself. So please, just say the questions are for me, you know, and I'd love an answer. I'd love an answer, and I'd love them to say publicly what their answer is, even if they insult me. I'd just like to hear it out loud. Anyway, I just think that I just don't know what people need to start getting angry. Like, nothing moves them. Nothing moves them. You know, the children being harmed, the women being cancelled, the suppression of free speech. Can't get a word out of my old comrades in comedy, you know. I mean, I don't know what has to happen. I don't know what has to happen for them to stop being cowards. You know, they've quite happily watched, you know, things fall apart for me. But I thought they might eventually see that we were right when all the, you know, news started coming in about homophobic parents at the Tavistock, and but nothing. They're saying the same old tweets. They're pretending it's not happening. They're looking the other way. Where are these people? Where are they? Where's Emma Kennedy on lesbians being forced to have sex with trans-identified males? It was a huge scandal. I never heard Emma talking about it. What has to happen? Who else should we call out while we're here? Please do suggest names. Rivers is claiming insanity. So I guess by that token, he could still be innocent by reason of insanity, in which case John will add him to the program as a positive story. But anyway, you know, the New York Times and the New York Post and the Villager all saying the same lie about Posey. You know, we know it's not true. You know, there's never been a scintilla of evidence that Posey is a right winger. In fact, she was a Labour voter before Labour threw women to the wolves. So like, you know, when you're in my position and you now know who you can trust and who you can't trust, it's still really disorientating to see people lying all the time. These are basically activist journalists working within every organization, and they're lying. Their idiot editors are trusting them to tell them the truth, and they're lying to their readers and to their editors. And I just don't know what we can do to break the stranglehold on information, except starting to call people out, you know? You know, I really want to just kind of break people, what's that thing? Bushwhack, make these people run out into the open, so we can hear what they think. Richard Herring, he interviewed Jordan Gray. Did he ask him about mermaids? Did he ask him about what he said to kids in schools? I don't know. I like I often start these things full of ideas, and then I dry up, just because it's probably the same 3 or 4 ideas revolving around my head. No, Ricky hasn't gone back on it. Ricky's just, he's just not making it a hobby horse the way I did, because Ricky's just signaling that he's against it without actually doing anything about it. He's been consistent. Yeah, no, there is that. But, there's a reason Chappelle is a bigger target. Chappelle is a bigger target because Chappelle really knows what he's talking about, and he thinks about it, and he talks about it carefully with a lot of knowledge. His alphabet car routine was obviously influenced by either his reading on the subject or his friends on the subject, his gay friends on the subject, because it was bang on, and every gay person I know loved it. But he went in, he said, I'm on Team Turf, right? And that's what makes him a target, I'd love to see Ricky Gervais say a similar thing, but it is good that he's at least not swallowing it. I don't know. I mean, I just want to propose it as a problem, because it seems to me that this week has been a perfect storm of things. The cancelling of women's events, the moving of a fucking paedophile into a women's prison because he was too violent for a man's prison. Nicola Sturgeon that was the other one. Nicola Sturgeon throwing out, the Scots throwing out a woman wearing the suffragette colours. Wasn't that perfect? Wasn't that absolutely perfect? And yeah, that brilliant story. Someone said the word Russell there. I don't know if this is the Russell you're thinking of, but Russell Davies saying that he didn't have Doctor Who morph back into David Tennant wearing women's clothes because it would have offended it would have offended drag artists. God forbid you should offend a drag artist. The derision can only go one way towards women. It can't actually go the other way. That's not right. Yeah, Dana Rivers convicted of first-degree homicide. Good. No, I'm not demoralized. It's more of a feeling of, I really did think there'd be more than me by this. Like, I thought there'd be more than me after a few months. I thought once people see that this is happening to women, this is happening to children, they'll be along. And no one joined in. And in fact, I wrote to Richard Herring on his Instagram about Jordan Gray, and he blocked me. So all they have is that they can hide and pretend they don't understand the issue. And I really, really think that we should drive them out on this. It's a moral imperative, that people stop this shit. It's getting insane, even more insane than I'm used to, than I remember. Like throwing women out for wearing the suffragette colours. Really? What? That's where we are. And what's really annoying as well is, we have Australia reversing on puberty blockers. We have the UK, reversing on puberty blockers as well, and closing the Tavistock. The Cass interim report has just exploded all that stuff. And yet, Scotland is trying to fast track those procedures. Just found this out. Anyway, so yeah, I did like please, I'm going to start mentioning people in these videos because I've waited long enough. It's been fucking 5 years now, and they should have been here long beforehand. But I'm going to start naming names, old friends and or just people who should be talking about it who aren't, because it's getting outrageous by this stage. It really is, Anyway, what a week. That's all I wanted to say. What a week. I mean, if this doesn't move them, I just don't know what will. What has to happen, Anyway, see you soon.